Welcome back to Chapter 3 of our series, Foundations of Mental Health Literacy. In this episode, titled Speak Mental Health Clearly, Decode Common Buzzwords, we'll be breaking down 5 popular buzzwords you often hear in mental health discussions and translating them into everyday language. Get ready to enhance your understanding and communicate more effectively about mental health. Let's dive in. Triggered, OCD, gaslighting. 3 words that dominate mental health talk online, yet almost none of us could define them accurately under pressure. Here's the twist. The more we use these terms loosely, the harder it becomes to name what's really happening in our own minds. Scroll any feed and you'll see it. I'm so bipolar. That meeting gave me PTSD. My boss is totally narcissistic. These phrases fly by like reaction buttons, quick, dramatic, and usually inaccurate. But here's the catch. When every bad mood is depression and every conflict is trauma, the real conditions behind those words become harder to recognize, talk about, and treat. In Episode 1, we looked at why mental health literacy matters. In Episode 2, we separated everyday stress from anxiety and burnout. Now, we're zooming in on the language itself, how clinical terms leak into casual talk, get stretched by algorithms and headlines, and start living their own online lives, far from the research that birthed them. Understanding this gap isn't about policing language, it's about reclaiming clarity so help can find the right people at the right time. Online, a tiny handful of buzzwords does a lot of heavy lifting. Out of hundreds of DSM-5 TR diagnoses, fewer than 25 terms dominate most posts and comment threads. That's like using the same 3 colors to paint every mural. Fast and expressive, but it blurs crucial detail. Meanwhile, real conditions are common and often untreated. Depression alone affects an estimated 280 million people worldwide, and in the US, more than half of adults with a mental illness didn't get care in 2022. When our vocabulary shrinks, so does our ability to notice when something serious is happening, to us or to someone we care about. Scroll a little further into those hashtags and a pattern appears. The same cluster of terms doing wildly different jobs. One video uses bipolar to mean, I have big feelings. The next describes distinct mood episodes, hospitalization, and medication. A third casually swaps bipolar and BPD as if they were synonyms. When 40% of top posts blur those lines, it's not just semantics. People start using the wrong map to navigate their own symptoms. Something similar happens with trauma, panic attack, and addicted. They migrate from clinical, legal, or research settings into everyday jokes, captions, and takes. Each hop strips away a little precision and adds a little drama. Over time, we're left with words that feel powerful but point to almost anything. That's a problem when you're trying to decide, do I need a day off, a new coping skill, or actual treatment? Notice what gets lost in translation. Duration, intensity, impact on daily life, and the presence of patterns over time. Those are the quiet details clinicians listen for, but online we mostly see the highlights reel. Spikes of emotion, peak crises, bold labels. No wonder many people either under-identify, I'm just being dramatic, or over-identify, this bad week means I'll always be like this, with what they see. Think of these terms more like prescription medications than over-the-counter painkillers. Each one is designed for a very specific set of symptoms, dosages, and risks. When they're handed around casually, it gets harder for professionals, and for you, to sort out what's actually going on. This doesn't mean you need a degree to talk about your feelings. It does mean there's value in pausing before you grab the loudest label on your For You page. Often, a simpler description, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stuck in worst-case scenarios, my energy's been flat for weeks, is a better starting point. From there, you and a professional can decide together which, if any, technical word truly fits. In the long run, that clarity is less about being correct on the internet and more about giving yourself a fair shot at the right kind of help. You're in a meeting, heart racing, palms sweaty. Calling it a panic attack might feel accurate, but a clinician would ask, how long did it last? What came before? How often does this happen? And what did it stop you from doing afterward? That extra detail is the difference between a tough moment and something that might need treatment. Try swapping buzzwords for camera settings that zoom in on what's actually happening. Instead of, "I'm so bipolar," you might say, "My mood swings from energized to exhausted within the same day." Instead of, "I'm addicted to my phone," try, "I keep scrolling even when I'm late or ignoring people I care about." Those specifics become clues, not cliches. Here's one way to experiment. The next time you reach for a big label, pause and ask, "If I couldn't use that word, how would I describe this in 3 sentences?" You're not downgrading your experience, you're sharpening the image so a friend, a manager, or a therapist can really see you and respond with something more useful than a like or a shrug. As algorithms, AI chatbots, and school programs step in, the stakes of fuzzy buzzwords quietly rise. If a platform can't tell a venting post from real risk, it's like a smoke alarm that goes off every time you boil water. Eventually, people stop listening. The upside: clearer vocabulary can guide smarter feeds, safer triage tools, and better classroom scripts. Over time, the way we label our inner world may influence who gets flagged for help and who slips through unseen. Your challenge this week: each time you catch yourself using a big label, online, at work, with friends, swap it for one concrete detail: sleep, appetite, energy, focus, or relationships. Treat it like adjusting a sound mix. Which volume knob is too loud or too quiet? By Friday, notice which patterns keep repeating and where you might actually want support. This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!